Hi sixes. So I'm going to be making two videos on the math this week. So make sure that you watch both the videos. The first video, I'm just going to do a really quick review on ordered pairs and how they can make shapes. And then I'll quickly talk about transformations and translations. The next video is going to talk about rotations and reflections. So make sure that you watch both videos or you'll be confused. So the first thing is ordered pairs. So this is what we've been doing for the past week or so when it comes to locating points on a grid. So remember, when it comes to making the locations, the X location always goes first and then the Y location. It always has to be like this. Make sure you get this right or else your location will be incorrect. So remember, the X-axis is the one that goes back and forth and the Y-axis is the one that goes up and down. So when it comes to these pairs, what you can actually use with them is you can create shapes. So on here, you'll see this triangle. There are three dots on it. There's a red dot, a green dot, and a yellow dot. Their ordered pairs are right here. And when you connect them together, they make a triangle. So you can actually make shapes with these dots, which we've seen before and which we will use when it comes to creating constellations and things like that. So you'll see that when it comes to these shapes, sometimes they have labels on it. So with this triangle right here, the dots are labeled A for the red one, B for the green one, and C for the yellow one. Together, if you connect them, they make a triangle. So this is called triangle ABC, as you can see here. So something that you might also hear me say is vertices. Vertices is basically just the name of the dot. So vertice A is at 3, 8, vertice B is at 7, 8, and vertice C is at 5, 1. So if you hear me say the word vertices, it's basically just a fancy word for the name of the dot. So when it comes to drawing these shapes, just remember to use a pencil. A lot of you guys really like to use markers and pens, but remember you can erase those. So it's easier to use a pencil. When you are making a shape, it has to be in this format, just like I showed you before, where it's the shape itself, like a triangle, or maybe you have four dots and it creates a square. You would make a little square. In this case, whatever the shape is, it's obviously a triangle, and there is three vertices, X, Y, and Z. Again, the vertices have the letter names, and then make sure that you have the ordered pairs, so where they're located. So vertice X is at 1, 1, vertice Y is at 12, 2, and Z is at 4, 8. Again, remember when we're doing anything with grids, label the X and Y axis so you don't forget, and if you're creating a shape, use a ruler to connect them so that it looks nice and neat. So the next thing we're going to get into is transformations. So when you're transforming something, that means you're changing it. So the first type of transformation we're going to talk about is translations. So there are three types of transformations we're going to talk about. Translations, the first thing we're going to talk about is moving something back and forth. So what this means is that the shape doesn't change in any way. It doesn't get bigger, it doesn't get smaller, it doesn't flip around or anything. It's exactly the same, except now you're moving it back and forth or up and down. So that this slide basically is a longer version of what I just said. So you always start with one shape and then you're either moving it back and forth or up and down. So in this case, the original shape is the yellow rectangle, and then we're moving it to where the red rectangle is. You can see that they're exactly the same. The only thing is that their colors are different, but that's just to show you so it's easier. So when it comes to translating something and moving it back and forth, usually it'll tell you. So I'm running out of time, so watch the next video and we'll get into the translations.